we are going to, I said practice test chapter 3, but this is from one of the worksheets. So here's the question. It says, write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form. So what's slope-intercept form? Right, y equals mx plus b. Oops, got my little microphone here. Just put it on me so I can hear me. Look at there. Sounds better than the mic from the computer. All right, so it says write an equation slope-intercept form for, and here's this. We haven't done a lot of these. I think we did one of these in class where the x-intercept is -6 and the y-intercept is 2. All right, I'll give you a second to work on that. All right, that's enough time. You know one thing, you know the y-intercept already, don't you? So you don't have to do any work for that. So you know that's going to go right there. Right? Okay, so that was nice. What don't you know that you want to find? Slope. Okay. So what about this thing right here, this x-intercept? What does it mean? What does it mean to be the x-intercept? Right. It means it crosses the x-axis at -6. 3, 4, 5, 6. So Jared said the point is -6, 0, isn't it? All right. So now look what we know. We know the y-intercept. Oh, and the y-intercept, you could put the y-intercept on here if you wanted to, couldn't you? 1, 2. Or you could do a 0, 2, isn't it? Yeah. You could do several different ways. I'm just trying to think of the easiest way to do this. What I would do is this. That's an x and that's a y. Would you agree? Yeah. Okay, so let's put that into this y equals mx plus b. All right, so y is what? 0 equals m, which is, do we know the m? No, we don't know the m. We got to find the m. That's why I put the point right here. So if we find the m, here's my 2 points that make that line. So what's the slope? Rise over run. Rise how much? 2. Run what? 6. So the slope is rise over run, +2, +6. So what's the slope? It's 1/3, right? So we know the slope now, don't we? So we'll put a 1/3 times x. What's the x? Remember, I'm using this point right here. Okay, it's -6, and then plus b. Actually, what am I doing? Yeah, you don't even have to put that stuff in. What am I doing? I already figured it out. I don't even have to put that in there because I just found the slope, didn't I? So it's just y equals what? 1/3 x, and then I already know the b. I didn't have to find the b. All right, I said that right at the beginning, and I went through the whole mess to find the b. And so there it is. There's your equation of the line. Yes?
When I put it in for, for the slope equation,
Yeah.
-1/3.
Well, it's 0. It doesn't make any difference, okay? We said that a whole bunch. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. You can go y1 minus 2 or y2 minus y1 as long as what? You do it in the same order. You do the x's and the y's in the same order. It doesn't make any difference. So watch. Let's go this top one minus this one right here. So you just didn't do your subtraction right. It's not 0 minus 6. It's 0 minus what? -6, and then it's 2 minus 0. See how I went in the same order? I went 0 minus this, and I went 2 minus that. Minus a negative is positive, so it's 6/2. Oh my goodness. I sure did. I did that on purpose to see if you were paying attention. You believe that? Yeah, don't believe me. You're absolutely right. It's not 6. What is it? It's the change in y. And I made a big deal about that at the beginning of class, didn't I? And then I forgot my own suggestion. So I'm glad you caught that. It's what? 2 minus 0 over 0 minus -6, and that's 2/6, which is 1/3. Sorry about that. It's warm in here. Maybe it's clouding my brain. Yeah, I hate it this warm.
My house is like 30 degrees.
But it is too stuffy in here. I need to open a window or something. Okay, here we go. So that wasn't that bad, was it? I kind of made it harder than what it was, to tell you the truth on this one. But but I think we understand it now. Here's the key. The key to this problem right here is to understand what it means to be the x-intercept. The x-intercept means it's going to be negative 6, 0. So look, I've got a y-intercept, I've got an x, I've got a y, right? Or I could do this a couple different ways. What I would do is just find and say 0, or the y-intercept is 0, 2. What I would do is just say, hey, find the slope between those 2 points right there. So you find the slope, you already got your y-intercept, bang, you're done. Let's do another one. I really messed up on that. So let's do another one super quick, all right? Super quick. So let's say the x-intercept is 2 now, and the y-intercept is negative 5. So do that really fast. You should be able to get that pretty quick. Actually, let's do it without even putting a graph on there. What does it mean to be the x-intercept? What's the point?
Negative 2, 0.
Which one is it?
2, 0.
It's 2, 0, right? That would be the x-intercept. What would the y-intercept? What point on the graph would the y-intercept actually be? It's 0, negative 5. That's all we need are 2 points, isn't it? So now we can do what? Find the slope. Slope is change in y. Let's try to do it right this time. 0 minus negative 5 over the change in x, which is 2 minus 0. So what's the slope? Positive 5 over 2. And now you already know the y-intercept, don't you? See that? So now you can put it all together. So it's y equals m, which is 5 halves x, and then the b is minus 5, and then there it is. It's simple now, isn't it? Once you understand what the x-intercept is and the y-intercept. Yeah. Let's do another one that's kind of close to this, but it's not x-intercept and y-intercept. They just give you 2 just random points, and they ask you to find the equation of the line between those 2 points. All right, I'll give you a minute to work on that right there. You're finding the equation in slope-intercept form, so it's going to be y equals mx plus b, and you want to find the equation of a line between those 2 points. All right, we're trying to find the equation of this line, so I want it to look like this. Okay, so what 2 things are the important thing to find using the equation of a line? Okay, slope and the y-intercept. Okay, so that's what I want to find. What's the first thing I'm going to find given 2 points? Just tell me. It's the slope. Okay, so the slope is the change in y over the change in x. So it's negative 4 minus 8, and then it's 2 minus 5. I did that right this time, didn't I? Okay, so that's negative 12 over negative 3. What does that reduce to? Always reduce it. Positive 4. So the slope is 4. All right? Now we have to find the y-intercept. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this equation right here. We're going to take one of these points. Remember, this is an x and a y, isn't it? And this is also an x and a y. Okay, so I could take either this one or this one. It doesn't make any difference. I could take either one of those points, put it in for this x and y, put the 4 in for the slope, and then I can solve for b. All right? Which one do you want to pick?
5 and 8.
The 5, 8? Okay, let's put them in there. So y is which one? 8 equals m. What's our m? 4 times x. What's our x?
5.
Okay, the x is 5, right? The m is the 4. And then plus b, because we don't know that. Now, on that other one with the intercepts, we knew what the b was, didn't we? Because they told us what the y-intercept was. This time they didn't tell us. We got to figure it out. So 8 equals what? 20 plus b. Subtract 20 from both sides, and b is that, negative 12? All right, so I got my slope and I got my y-intercept. Give me a sec. And then so what do I do now? Put it into slope-intercept form. So y equals what? 4x minus 12. Okay, questions? Chad?
Can you just put it in with slope form?
No, because what was my instructions at the beginning?
Put it in y-intercept.
Put it in y-intercept form,
Oh,
or
right,
slope-intercept.
it was-
Oh, you could put it into that form to get to it. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, but your final answer has to be, that's what I thought you meant at first. Yeah, if you wanted to, yeah, absolutely. Let's do that, just to do that. Okay, I don't normally do it because you kind of get into a habit of a way you like to do problems, and I'm kind of in the habit of using this. But yeah, I could use point slope form. Let's write down point slope form. Now we already found the slope, didn't we? So we can put that in there. So I could do this. I could take either one of these points. Tell you what, let's use the other point just for fun, just to be different, okay? So let's use this one and put it in. So what are we going to put it in? Y minus what? Negative 4, which will be plus 4, right, equals m, which is 4, and then x minus what? 2. All right, now, see the thing here, it really doesn't make any difference. You had to do a little algebra here to get b, and you have to do a little algebra here to get y. To tell you the truth, sometimes this is easier, sometimes that's easier. It just depends,
I just
okay?
wanted to make sure I was doing this right.
Yeah, so y plus 4 equals, you got to distribute, right? You didn't have to distribute up here, but this one you have to distribute. So it's 4x minus 8. And now it's really easy because all you got to do is get rid of the minus 4. And there it is. Same exact thing, isn't it? Y equals 4x minus 12. Yeah, sometimes people like this better, and that's perfectly fine.
Because it comes out to the equation. It doesn't come out.
And could you?
Right. But really, it's not that much different because here you find b. You know, you have to do a couple steps here. Yeah, it's just I think it's just about exactly the same amount of work. You know, I don't think one's any easier than the other. It's just whatever you get used to, you know. I'm not saying my way's better. It's just either way, doesn't make any difference. That's why I teach it both ways. That's why I teach it both ways.
Can we go do one of 19 and one of 20?
Like from the practice. Well, they're both on the,
test.
remember, they're both on the video that I did in the other class.
Like a practice. Not on
Like
the
that we can
practice
do.
test. That we can do, and then we go over how we
Well, try one of those from the practice test. You want to do that? What? How much time do we have? 2 what? 2:12? 13? All right. Let me do one more before we get you to do that one because remember I said I couldn't find it in the. Let's look at number 13 in the book. In the practice test in the book, number 13. Let's do that one. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Point set form, I flipped it around and did y1 minus y. Would that work too? I got the same answer. I just wanted to know because.
Yeah, it probably will because you're doing it. If you do it to both sides, if you go y1 minus y on one side and x1 minus x on the other side, yeah, but that's going to be. I wouldn't do it that way because it's a lot better to have that y first, so it's just sitting there and it's not going to be a negative. And yeah, I would do it the way that I just did it. All right, here's what this problem says. It's number 13 from the practice test. It says, here's a point, negative 8, 1. So you want to find the equation of a line. That's what they're asking you. Find the equation of a line that goes through this point, negative 8, 1, and is perpendicular. I always just like to put the perpendicular symbol to this line right here, y equals 2x minus 17. So what does that mean? Well, I got a point, so that's my x and a y. What does it mean to be perpendicular to this? What's true about the line I'm trying to find? That's right, the slope's negative reciprocal. So if the slope of this line is 2, what's the slope of the line I'm trying to find? Negative 1/2, good. That's the only thing we care about that line is what the slope is, right? I don't care what that line's y-intercept is. I just care about the slope of this line. I'm using it, okay? I'm using this line to figure out, so I don't care. Sorry, line. I don't care about you. All I care about is your slope, all right? Because once I know the slope of this line, I can find the slope of my line. Everybody with me on that? Okay. So now I've got a point and I've got a slope, and now we can go through it. Do you want to do this point slope form again since we did it earlier? Just to, yeah, it'd be different. Okay, so y minus y1. Now, we only have one point to choose from this time, don't we? So we have to use this point right here. So it's y minus 1 equals m. And how did we know what our m is? Because it's perpendicular to this line, so it's a negative reciprocal. So it's going to be negative 1/2. And then x minus x1, which is, right, negative 8, which will be plus 8 in a second. So we'll make that a plus 8 right there. Okay, so let's do this. Y minus 1 equals negative 1/2 x. What's that going to be? Minus 4. Good, because half of 8 is 4. Add a 1 to both sides. So y equals negative 1/2 x minus 3. And that would be the line. You could do this, right, in slope-intercept form, right? Find the b, right? You already know the m, right? Find the b, and then put them all together, and you got your equation. You'll get the same exact thing. Yep.
Distance formula gives the square root of x2 minus x1 y1 squared, and then plus y2 minus y1.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't matter, oh yeah. That plus, right? It doesn't matter what order you subtract the x's and y's in, okay? And it doesn't even matter if you put the y's first or the x's first, because you're just going to add them together anyway, aren't you? But usually I write it like this for the distance formula. But it doesn't matter, because if I switch these around, the only thing that it would do is change it to a negative, right? Or change the sign of it. But you're going to square it anyway, right? So what happens when you square a negative or positive? Always comes out what? Always comes out positive, right? So it doesn't make any difference. Excuse me. Oh, that'd be loud on the video. Cover my mouth. I should cover the microphone. All right. Probably will. All right, what else? Oh, you want to do one of those other types, right? Okay, let me find one from the workbook. All right, so here we go. We are finding the distance between this point and this line. All right, we don't have a whole lot of time left over, so I'll give you like 1 minute. Ready? Go. All right, a minute's up. I don't have time. We only got like 2 minutes left, so I don't have time to go through this whole thing, but let's go through the basic idea of this. Jacob, you with us? All right. Here we go. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to find the length of this green line, aren't we, or the distance of that green line. Well, we already know this point right here. Remember, distance formula, if we know 2 points, I can find the distance, right, if I know the endpoints. So what's that point right there? It's 14, -6. The whole key to this problem is to find this point right here. I'll call that xy. So how do we begin doing that? Well, find the equation of a line. So we don't have time to do all this, but I'll just kind of maybe write down the steps. Okay, so find the equation of both lines, correct? Of both lines. So this one, that's not hard. We've already done this because, look, they give you 2 points. You can find the equation of a line, can't you? We just did a problem like that recently, all right? Right here, once you find the slope of this yellow line, then you take the what? Negative reciprocal, and that's the slope of the green line. You got that? So you've already found the yellow line, all right? And then you find the slope of the green one, which is the negative reciprocal of this. And you know a point on the line too, don't you? So you take that slope and that point in order to find the equation of the line. Now, once you get the equation of the yellow one and the equation of the green one, watch. So once you get y equals mx plus b of the yellow one, and then you get y equals mx plus b of the green one, mx plus b, sorry, it's a mess. What do? Take this, and what do you do to them? Set them equal. You solve for x and y. That's that point right there. Then you find the distance. Okay?
Drumline student, please go to